Well, it can be awful quiet out here. You get to know your boots really good. You know, it makes me think of a song. It goes something like this. All right, today's topic, rebelde boot verbs. Rebelde means rebel. And here's your essential question. How do stem-changing boot verbs break the rules? First, what is a rebel? Un rebelde might be someone who breaks social norms, or someone who fights against tyrannical government, or it might be someone who resists societal oppressions, or it might be someone whose name is Rebel Wilson. But in any case, rebels break the rules, and boot verbs are no different. They're rebels. To find out why, imagine an AR verb conjugation chart. And now imagine a boot. And ask yourself this, ¿por qué lo llamamos un boot verb? Why do we call it a boot verb in the first place? Here's your answer. That's right, because of the boot shape. Why is there a boot shape on this AR verb conjugation chart? Let me show you. And I'll show you using a common boot verb. This is jugar. You're familiar with it, to play. Look at the different conjugations and ask yourself this. Where does jugar rebel against the rules of regular AR verb conjugation? How does it break those rules? Here's a clue for you. Earlier you heard me call them stem-changing boot verbs. So look at the stems. Alright, you're probably noticing something. If you look outside of the boot shape, look at the stem in nosotros form, jugamos. It's the same as the stem in the infinitive form, jugar, jug. Same with the vosotros form, jugáis, no change. Now look inside the boot and you'll see that it's not the same stem. The stem has changed. The yo form, yo juego. The tú form, tú juegas. El, ella, en usted juega. Ellos, ellas, en ustedes juegan. All of the stems change inside the boot, and that's why we call them stem-changing verbs or boot verbs. Every boot verb follows a pattern, a rule for the stem change. In jugar's case, the U inside the stem changes to a UE when a verb is conjugated in any of the forms that are inside the boot. So we call it a U to UE boot verb, or a U to UE stem changing verb. If I know the stem changing rule for any stem changing boot verb, I can conjugate in any form. Please copy down that jugar conjugation chart in your notes, and underneath it, prepare to write one more conjugation chart of the verb tener, which is also a boot verb. And see if you can figure out, using what you know, the conjugation forms of tener. Here's the rule. The E changes to an IE inside the boot. That's how the stem changes. Fill in the chart for tener with all the different conjugated forms. Alright, take a second and give it a try. Here we are. Yo tengo, nosotros tenemos, tú tienes, él, ella, en usted tiene, ellas en ustedes tienen, and vosotros tenéis. Outside the boot, the stem doesn't change. It conjugates just like a regular ER verb in this case. Inside the boot, you see that the stems change from ten to tienes. In the él, ella, usted form, tiene, and ellos, ellas, ustedes tienen. The yo form, it just does its own thing. It's breaking the rules inside of breaking the rules. Gets kind of crazy. And the stem doesn't change there, but it does add the go. Don't ask me why, class. I'm sorry. I tried to, fix Spanish, but it wouldn't let me. So we just have to remember that that's an exception to the exception. Class, that's how stem-changing boot verbs work. If you know the stem-changing rule and the infinitive form itself, you can conjugate any of them. Just change the stem inside the boot when you conjugate, and if you're outside the boot, don't worry about it, just conjugate it like normal. Class, make sure you've got down your verb conjugation chart for jugar and tener and bring them with you to class tomorrow, and we will practice them and maybe add a few more. Gracias, clase, y hasta luego. And now for the latest on weather. Here's your weather host, Batman.
Thank you very much. Boy, this sure beats fighting crime.